I won't lie to you guys. Making this video is actually still kind of bumming me out because I have to remember that I'm no longer part of Row. But obviously, I showed the video of me at that battle royal to absolutely no fanfare. But I figured now's a good time to just sort of talk about it for recording purposes, just for like record purposes. Obviously, so take this walk with me as I go through the doors and windows of it all. So starting off, when I was in Reality of Wrestling for the time that I was there, I came across a gentleman by the name of Ledric Chamberlain. He was a wrestler out in Houston. Really, really cool guy. Really good wrestler. The dude knows how to bring a crowd with him. He looks like, like I said, outside of wrestling, he looks like Jesus with glasses on. But once he starts wrestling, he's like this remarkably talented, also really tough dude. Like he could take a beating, to say the least. So when I actually got a chance to communicate with him, he, like I said, we were in pretty good connections with each other. He basically told me that like he trains out in Houston. He trains out in a place out in Houston. He's a lucha libre guy. I love me some lucha libre, and when I got kicked out of Reality of Wrestling, I basically cried about it for like a week. Well, not cried. I was bummed out for sure. But yeah, I was part of me basically said I still want to become a wrestler. So I basically asked Chamberlain if he had, if there was any places available that he could like bring me to, and he suggested the place out in Houston. So I basically told him, like if you can get me in, I'll go in. And he basically got me into this. He got me into the school out in Houston. The school out in Houston. First of all, everybody who knows me, I hate driving. You also know that I hate driving like all the way out there. But it's like, sacrifices got to be made. It's just ironic to me because years ago I was crashing over at my cousin's place in Houston, and it would take me an hour to get to Reality of Wrestling, the train. Now I'm here in where I'm at, and now I gotta drive an hour to Houston to train. It's like history doesn't really repeat itself, but it rhymes like crazy. With that being said, though, I'm going over. I'm trying to do the thing. I'm trying to make myself, like known out in Houston a little bit, And his trainer, who just happens to be the booker for the company that y'all saw me working at, I didn't know that this dude is cool. He's really cool. He's really cool. He's really chilled out. We had a little brief conversation, and Chamberlain basically told me that if I can like help him get to events, then he would, then he'd hook me up. So Chamberlain apparently was talking to his trainer and basically said, this guy, he knows a little bit about what he's doing already. Let's go ahead and bring him into this Rumble. And I didn't know about this until I got there, because like I'm talking to Chamberlain. I'm just basically letting him know like, hey, I want to try to show my face to the booker around here so I can talk to him. And Chamberlain says, okay, yeah, we can go meet the booker. We go over to the booker, and Chamberlain says, hey, he's in the Rumble. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't have on gear. I don't have on gear. I'm not doing anything. But thankfully, the place is like bumping. It's loud. It's a nightclub, so it's like it's a rave. It's a literal wrestling ring in a rave, in a indoor rave. So like the crowd is actually like literally dancing around the ring because it's on the dance floor, and I thought that was kind of cool. I actually had a whole idea about how I was going to get into the Rumble too. I thought what I was going to do was I didn't think the music was going to be playing the whole show. So like the ring, so like what I expected to do was I was going to like maybe toss some smack in the crowd, because I'm a very loud person during a match, because the crowd I don't think the crowd really be into it like that. So it's like I'm the loudest person in roughly every show that I'm at sometimes. So I was thinking to myself, like during some part in the match, I'm going to scream, hey man, that didn't really hurt. Shake it off, man. That stuff don't hurt you like that. He's weak. He ain't going to do anything. And I was thinking that a wrestler in the match would probably like call me, like, basically say, what'd you say? And then toss, we jaw jack. I act scared. And he's like, "No, man, get in here and say that. Get in this ring and say that." You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking that what was going to happen was he was going to say, "Get in this ring." Then I get into the ring, and I get beaten up a little bit, but then I start showing that I can work and I can wrestle, and like that would be like my thing until I get thrown out. That's what I thought was going to happen, but obviously the thing didn't go the way that I was supposed to go for a multitude of reasons. Number one, I was told that I was going to be like the fourth entry into the Rumble. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I'm just going to go in there, do my thing, and bounce, right? I wasn't called until like, I think I was like number 14 or 15. I was around the middle of the thing. And I remember, because like when I didn't get called for number 4, I thought to myself, okay, they didn't know who I was. Maybe they didn't know who I was. Maybe some stuff got lost in translation. No big deal. I'm not part of this Rumble. I don't care. That's fine. That's fine. I get it. This thing I know, the Rumble's in the middle of happening, and I get called in. And I remember I was just in a rave, just dancing it up, having a good time, because if it's music I can dance to, I will dance. I just don't dance that well. So I'm like up in there just having a good time. I hear my name called twice. And I'm like, that's me. So next thing I know, I'm like going through the crowd, like, pardon me, y'all, excuse me. And then I had to run into the ring and get my stuff in. That's clearly what you saw. Like, you saw me do the that's when you saw me do the moonsault. But I also gave somebody a DDT. I also gave somebody a Yakuza kick. I got chopped by this giant. I want to say I got in like maybe 2 minutes worth of stuff. But that was kind of like what happened though. Obviously, but like when I did my moonsault, somebody got I felt 2 bodies on the way down. I thought I clipped somebody, and I got nervous because one thing I know about professional wrestling is if you make a mistake, the wrestler wants to like knock your head off. So that's why when you see a clip, you see me like go like, oh my god, yo, what just happened? Because I thought I knocked somebody's block off, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm about to get killed, because it's dark. But this guy clearly saw who did it. So I was a little nervous about that. Like I said, I do it, but it's like, he was a good sport. Nothing happened, thankfully. Nothing really happened, thankfully, but I did kind of overreact and get myself eliminated early in the matchup. I think I was like the first person eliminated in there. So that was kind of like ultimately what that led into. But it was just kind of crazy because, number one, I didn't expect to actually wrestle that day. Number two, the little bit of wrestling that I did do was okay, even though I didn't get a chance to really do what I planned to do or what I was getting ready to do. It still felt good to just be able to go into a ring, take some hits, give some hits, and then get like launched out before anything could happen. Nobody wanted to take my head off. I didn't clip anybody. Nobody got hurt because of me, and I didn't get hurt in general. It was actually a really, really, really fun time, and I'm glad to have had that. And I couldn't have had that without Chamberlain having my back and basically putting in a good word for me. So when Chamberlain ultimately showed me about the wrestling training facility that he was over at, because that wasn't a training facility, that was an actual show. I go over to a training facility. I'm talking to the guy who trained him, and the guy who trained him has been like to other countries and worked other places. So I'm like, it feels good to know that like I got a chance to just sort of like get get myself out there. Like I went from being in the front row of professional wrestling, now I'm in the back rows, and the back rows are actually not that bad because the shows that I help Chamberlain get to, I stress help Chamberlain get to, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm just driving him to shows or anything like that. But it's like, we all carpool. We all carpool sometimes, and I, and whenever, and he lives not too far from me. So it's like, if I can make it to the show, I'm bringing him along with me, right? But, but the whole idea is that like, for the bits and pieces of time that I can actually, like now I'm in the back rows of wrestling. Now I'm at these smaller lucha shows. And these lucha shows are nice, I'm checking out the lucha shows. I'm seeing this rave. I'm at this rave, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I think the one thing I hate is just driving back and forth from Houston, because that's an hour that way, and it's a long trip, especially because at nighttime I get a little tired. I always run the risk of possibly falling asleep on the road. I won't lie to y'all, it won't happen, but I always run the risk of it. But You know, like for the most part, I do. I'm still depressed about the fact that I'm no longer part of reality of wrestling, but essentially, not being a part of reality of wrestling kind of did sort of help me sort of expand what little bit of experience I have with professional wrestling, because I went from just being affiliated to one wrestling company to being affiliated now with, if I'm not mistaken, like 3. So, you know, like it feels good. It's just like I said, my only complaint is if I had a much more reliable way to get to Houston that didn't involve me having to drive there, this would probably not be this. This would be a lateral move. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be like, it's not a demotion, it's not a promotion, but I mean it is a lateral move, but it will feel more like a lateral move because, you know, like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm still sad about the fact that I'm not part of reality of wrestling, but the way I see it is, I shouldn't have messed up the way that I messed up, and you know, but it's like, if this is what it takes for me to be a wrestler, I'll do it. I'll do what I got to do, because the goal is to get back up in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, you know, I'm still, you know, I still got it. And being in that Rumble proved that. But that's about it, though. Love, peace, and happiness to every single one of y'all, and see y'all in the ring.